Hello again, tartan blanket advice here again. Right, this is just the first of a short series of short videos on practical advice for the times we're living in. This one I want to talk to you about the bartering system. So if the world is going to have a digital ID, if that's going to lead into being, the mark of the beast, where we can't buy or sell without taking the mark. And of course, if you're a Christian, you are forbidden to do it, or everybody shouldn't do it. Then what do we do? I mean, if you've got land and you're growing stuff and you've got some meat you're hunting for, fish you're fishing for, all the other things you can, there's going to be still things that you have to get, right, that you can't grow or produce yourself or source yourself. That's where a bartering system is a really good idea, and I want to encourage people to start doing it now. So if you live in a town or a village or a city, and they have, or preferably you're not living in a city, they have local markets. You have bric-a-brac markets, fruit and veggie markets, charity shop markets, local markets. Certainly the country I come from, they do have that in towns. And you hire a little stall and you sell your things there, and you get to keep all that you make. It's tax-free. What I suggest is that these markets, we start turning them into having the option of bartering as well, bartering stalls. So, contact your local market organisers and say you would like to start a bartering stall, and just be the first one to see how it goes. So what it means by bartering is a very old-fashioned way of doing things. Before we had money, or even while we had money, right up until I think probably, the 17th century, people used to barter as well. So for example, if you keep chickens, you've got plenty of eggs, you take them along to the barter market and say you need something else. You need, I don't know, you might need a hammer, replace a hammer. So you can go along and you can give a dozen eggs or 2 dozen eggs, whatever the bartering is accepted. You sort of do a deal, and somebody else has got a second-hand hammer. They give you the hammer and they take the eggs. It's as simple as that. But it requires everybody to be involved. It's a very good system where you can get the things that you cannot produce yourself and not have to have cash. Or have a digital card. If we have to have a society where we cannot buy or sell without using a digital ID, bartering is a good way of doing things. Another way is if you've collected up gold and silver jewellery, gold and silver coins, nuggets of gold and silver, people can exchange those things for other items that they haven't got. But that's still using some sort of money, isn't it, really? But that's a good system too. Or even we could just continue to use cash, even if the government don't recognise it. But between your own community, you can still recognise cash, or even make up your own cash, I guess. But you do have to realise that cash is actually not actual real money. There's nothing backing it up. It's supposed to be gold backing it up, but I don't think it is anymore. It hasn't been since the Wall Street crash in 1929. It's less and less. America had Fort Knox gold, and the UK had the gold mint. There's some, but they have printed far more money than what they've got in gold. So it's really worthless bits of paper. So I advocate the bartering system. Now, another thing you can do with bartering system is you can also barter your services. It doesn't have to be a practical thing, like an item. It can be your service. So say you're a mechanic and somebody else needs something done to their car, but they don't know how to do it. But the mechanic might need someone to build him a woodshed because he needs a builder. So you swap your services. And yeah, it's a way of getting what we need. And we can start doing this now. We can be seen as a sort of hobby at the moment, but get involved in your local markets and ask them about whether you can start doing that. And you'll be surprised how many people are going to like that, because cash is so people just don't have much to spend. So if they've got no money but they've got skills, or they've got extra vegetables or chickens, or they bake their own cakes or whatever, they can do the sewing or whatever they do, they can swap with people. And it's a really good fun event too, you can have on a weekly basis in the local community. So that's one of my practical tips for the times we are living in, and I shall hopefully put up more, but that's basically the transactional money part, if you want to call it that. How are we going to do that? Now, one little side note I want to say is that we also require as Christians, when we've got elderly people, very elderly people, who cannot provide a service, cannot grow vegetables, cannot do any of those things anymore, our culture should be to take care of them. So if you can go to your market and barter for a neighbour who's very, very elderly, or a family member, do that for them. If you can grow extra vegetables and fruit for them, do that for them. If you can go around and fix something that needs fixing in their house, do that for them. Or better still, if they're your family member and they're that elderly, bring them to your house to live with you. All right? We have to start doing these things. Please, please do not put them in the homes for the elderly. They are death camps for the elderly. Euthanasia has been brought in. In COVID, they killed a lot of them with their vaccinations. And I don't care if people think I'm a conspiracy person. I believe that's what's been happening, because they see them as useless, and they're not. There's nothing better than having an elderly person living in your house whom you can go and seek advice from. They can tell you, even if they've got dementia, they can give you advice from their youth, because dementia does not block out their youth. They remember things, and they can give you lots of wise, sage advice. So value our old people, and also those widows and women who have no husband, who've got kids. They also need taken care of. So let's come together as Christian communities, as they did once in days of old, and resurrect these things. I'm sure it will please the Lord immensely. Anyway, God bless you, and enjoy your bartering.